Welcome back, everyone. You should now have a version of a flower that looks similar to this. If you don't, please go back to lesson 3, but we're going to use our magic wand here and select our sections. I'm going to select the whole flower here, but you can select petal by petal, which may make coloring this a bit easier. I just want to let you guys know that using different colors is okay, so it doesn't need to be the same as the photograph, all right? Same thing as before, just remember every time that we're doing an art piece, we use that same process, right? We're gonna keep using our process because that's what we know. And I'm just gonna lay in my flats just like we've done in the prior 2 lessons. We're doing that base flat color, right? And here I'm using purple, like I said. Different color is okay, so you can make it any color you want. If you've been following along with me so far, if you could please hit that like and subscribe button, because that really helps me out and lets me know what content you guys are enjoying. While we're kind of getting this filled in here, I did want to give you guys a heads up on some other terms that artists sometimes use. One of them is hue, which is another word for color. Another word we use is value. Value is just a fancy term for how light or dark our colors are. I'm just gonna finish filling this in with a quick speed paint. I will be back with you in 1 second. Same question we should have in every single piece of artwork we're making, which is, where is our light source? Let's turn on that light source and figure out where it is. In this drawing, just like with the soccer ball, we can imagine that it's probably the sun. A flower is usually outside. You might grow them in your house, but a lot of times they're outside in a garden. So a sun would be a good version of a light source when we're painting a flower. Unless it was nighttime, and then it might be a moon or a street light or light from a house. But for right now, let's just stick with the sun and that it's daytime, okay, on a sunny day. Same process as before. We're just gonna add those overlay and multiply layers, right? And we're gonna use those same colors. We're gonna use that base color purple for our multiply, and we're gonna pick a lighter color for our highlight layer, our overlay layer. I am going to probably add one more color in this lesson just to show you, but it's okay. Stay calm. I'll guide you through it. It's not that intimidating. You're gonna laugh when you see that all that it is. Just like the patches on the soccer ball, the petals are going to kind of have their own unique 3D shape, right? If you were to hold that flower in your hand, you're going to know that there's a petal isn't completely flat. It might be really thin, but it's not completely flat. And they can block the light as well. But again, we want to remember our lighter colors are going to be closer to that light source in this drawing, and our darker colors are going to be the further away we get from that source. Just paint along with me, all right, and let's do our multiply and overlay layers like we normally would. Again, if you can select petal by petal, it might make it a little bit easier for you. But as you get closer to where a petal is kind of overlapping, especially if it's one of the ones that's going to be blocked from the sun, we're going to add a shadow there, right? We're going to add a shadow because that petal is blocking the sunlight. So it's a little bit of a darker color. If that doesn't make full sense, just watch the screen, then try it yourself. or try it yourself and then look at the screen. You know, you can rewind as many times as you need. There's no shame in reviewing what you're doing. I have to review what I'm doing a lot of the time too. I usually start with my multiply layer just because I'm used to drawing with a pencil, and you shade with a pencil. You don't really add highlights with a pencil. Highlights when you're drawing or sketching with a pencil tends to be an absence of any shading. I know now they have things like the white gel pens where you can add highlights to traditional types of drawing and stuff like that. But for the most part, when you're drawing with a pencil, you would illustrate those highlights by keeping them blank. So now we're gonna hit that overlay layer, all right? And one of the things I wanted to call out here is the closer we get to kind of a lighter value, one of those lighter colors and that sort of thing, we are going to have less opacity in it. If you were to look, I'm just kind of looking out my window now at the trees, and you kind of start to see that the color isn't as pronounced. Whereas if I look at the bottom of the trees, I'm looking at a maple tree right now, and if I look at the bottom of that tree, I can definitely tell it's green, but as I look up, it starts to get kind of yellow, but it's not just a really rich yellow, a very saturated yellow. It means saturated means it's not filled with that green, or yellow in this case. It's kind of a greenish yellow, and it's not a bold color, right? So I advise you kind of look at that. You'll also kind of see it sometimes when you're looking off in the distance as well. If you ever go hiking when you hike to the top of a mountain, you might see off in the distance, things aren't as strong and as bold. Also, don't forget to use your blend tool to kind of make those transitions between those values of the color on the flower petals a little bit smoother. So again, one of the things I want to recommend to you, and it's advice that I learned from watching an interview with a artist whose name is Jung Gi. I will put his name up on the screen. But one of the things he says that he does when he draws is he imagines getting down in the scene and imagining what everything looks like. And I think that it's good when you're drawing something like a flower. Think about if you were to hold that flower in your hand, what are the shapes, right? They're 3D shapes, they're not flat shapes. We start with the flat shapes to construct something maybe, but we know that it's a 3D shape, and that's true of all of the things we drew in the first section of this. So you'll see as we move on that it applies to all of the things that we have drawn and will draw in our lives, is that they're all made up of 3D shapes. Finally, if you really want to amp it up, what I suggest you do is not just think about it as being a flat 3D shape, for lack of a better term, but being one that has folds and that sort of thing, right? So you want to kind of add in those embellishments on those folds. Like if you think about a shirt or something like that, right? It's a 3D shape because that cloth, right? We could hold it in our hands, and even though it is pretty flat, it's still 3D. But as there's wrinkles and that sort of thing in a shirt, right, there's wrinkles and so forth in this flower. So we can add those in there. We can also add, and this is the other thing that I'm going to throw in there for you, there's also a even darker color we could probably add in just right up against where those leaves are at the bottom especially, right? Because those petals, sorry, not leaves, the petals, as they get further away from the sun, are going to be a lot darker, right? Because they're really not getting hit by that light. So as a final reminder, I want to remind you that I do believe in you. I believe in your ability to be a great artist. I believe in your ability to understand and love art. And I also believe in your ability to believe in yourself. But remember that if nothing else, I believe in you.